agency of the president through which patronages are dispensed. In the case we have seen, in later years, you can find out that since this administration, we have had almost 6 MDs within the 4 years. And there have been that penchant. Why is it that it's preferable to go outside the provisions of the law, to do things outside the law? For instance, there's no provision for interim management in the law.
All right, Mr. Mite, before we go to that, the IMC component, now, the 1998 Unpeldec Act, which you spoke about, eventually repealed, and then the NDDC Act came. 2 distinguishing features. Well, that decree was, just as you said, they were to carry out their functions. The priorities were as stipulated by the communities. Now, the Act then talked about, as directed by, yes, the president, the state actors, as it were. But because even recently, not long ago, we have heard even some other governors have said, look, if you want development to come in, I'm paraphrasing now, saying, look, it has to be coordinated by establishments, that communities can't be the ones determining how the structure of execution of some of those projects should go. So can we really say that the 1998 Unpeldec decree, which was repealed, was achieving the purpose that the Niger Delta for development to come into the area?
Yes, I mean, what has always been the issue here is that the communities of the Niger Delta say, and in fact most communities, that sometimes they are scratching them where it's not itching. So how do you know what the communities want? And what that decree did is that at the local government level, you are now going to have a local government community development coordinating committee, which is to now harness what comes from each of the communities affected in that local government. And then the states were also to key in. So what you see was a bottom-up approach, not top-down, where people sit down and decide what they think are the priorities. How does a community, for instance, that does not need a road, or they need a road, then what you give them, sometimes you say that you are going to buy, face masks for the police. How has that got to do with the communities that are affected? Each day, people are dying because things are not done how it's supposed to be done.
I get your point, but what would you then say to those who think, so what's the point of having those elected officials there? Because they were there to carry out those responsibilities on behalf of the people.
There is also the question, these were not supposed, the NDDC or were not supposed to go and struggle for space with what local governments are doing or what state governments are doing. They still have their own responsibility. And that's why we always refer to it as an interventionist agency. And these are some of the things that we have coordinated, we have been saying over the years. I remember when I was chairman of the Niger Delta Technical Committee, we specifically made a recommendation to the NDDC that they should focus exclusively on major and mega infrastructural projects in the region, especially the ones that will do interstate roads or some of the things that will benefit maybe region. The more than one state. So every agency is supposed to have its own role. And the Niger Delta Ministry should also have its own role, not to struggle for space with NDDC. And
okay, so back to the point which you were trying to make. Do you think that the IMC is part of the problem or the problem?
It is illegal. It is illegal. There is a law in place that says there should be a board. Mind you, the history of the IMC is that at the time it was put up, the president had approved a board that had been screened and it was to be inaugurated. Then all of a sudden, we now had IMC. Why is it that this government does not want a structure according to law In fact, there are times that they have even had a sole administrator for an agency like NDDC. Why is it that they are running away from? It is that they don't want to do due process. And let me tell you, Chamberlain, one of the things that they are not telling you in all this drama that you are seeing is that where did these funds go to? The truth is that every person you ask on the streets of the Niger Delta know that these are all hush funds for elections. These are funds that they use in doing elections, and that is what you are seeing. That's why you see they give you figures that do not make sense. That's why they are going to pay 400 and something, say they pay 400 and something or whatever billions they are paying just to give to a consultant to show them their own project. So these are things that every person knows, I mean, what the funds are for. So whatever probe you call it, if you like, do it. It's like someone trying to self-indict. So every person in the whole hierarchy, I think they understand what they are doing, and the drama, I think, is becoming nauseating to those of us who know the opportunity cost of all these things.